What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Third and Longhorn. And this is, I know I keep saying this, but we've been trying to make a bunch of different episodes happen for a long time.
Yeah.
And this is one that I've been working on for a long time. And, you know, every time I see Derrick, I'm like, hey, man, we got to get you on the show. We got to get you on the show because he's the man who's on the other side of the camera all the time that's making everything at Texas look good. So, ladies and gentlemen, the director of creative media for football, Derrick Ochoa. Derrick, welcome.
Appreciate y'all. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Like you said, I'm used to being on the other side of the camera, so gotta just get used to this a little bit. But no, it's excited to talk to you guys.
You're big time now, man. You're a celeb, so we appreciate it. But man, we always start these off the exact same way. And I was just learning this a second ago. But it starts off, you know, how'd you get to Texas? Can you take us a little bit of like through your career? And I had no idea your tenure you have at this place.
Yeah. So I always say my journey is a little different in the creative field than a lot of people's. In our field, a lot of people bounce around a little bit, try to find the right fit. But I've been at Texas my entire professional career. Since 2013, you know, I moved from New Orleans to Texas, Austin, Texas, with my now wife. You know, it was my first job out of college. So started off as an editor, basically, working for football under the athletics umbrella, doing a lot of work with the team, a lot of in-house projects, a lot of team highlights, a lot of recruiting stuff. And then as time went on, you know, you start getting more job responsibilities. You get a promotion and a title. You get moved up again. And more stuff keeps adding to your plate once you prove yourself and you're trustworthy and dependable. And, you know, you start moving up a little bit. So, you know, I started out as, you know, I think my original title was assistant media relations director. But, you know, I was filming the football practices, filming the games. A couple of years later, media coordinator. You know, next thing up.
Moving up.
You know, a creative team gets created, and I end up moving up over there in 2018 as the director of video. And then again, some more turnover in our department. In 2022, I become the creative director. So I've been in that chair since 2022, going on my fourth season there. But, you know, yeah, it's been here my entire professional career. So I've been able to learn from different departments, whether it's media relations or the marketing or, you know, the football creative team when I first started over here. You know, I might have been different, you know, universities or different companies or anything, but I've been in different seats and listening to different conversations, learning and gathering information that way.
Yeah. You got it.
I was going to say real quick there. Let me ask you this. So we've had Caden Hyde previously on the podcast. He, from the title I can remember, it's something similar to what you do. Can you tell me, do you two work directly hand in hand? Are you in the same department? Like, what's the difference between what Caden does and what you do?
Yeah, so Caden Hyde, he oversees the creative team for the athletics side. Okay. You know, our department, we are housed under football. We report to Coach Sark. We are under the football umbrella. I look at it as we're a one-stop shop in-house ad agency for the football program. You know, that's our main focus. That's our only priority. We're doing everything we can to promote the program, make sure our recruiting department has what they need, you know, social media, graphics around the facility, you know, binder covers, you know, all that kind of stuff like comes through us. Yeah. But we have a great relationship with Caden and his crew. You know, they have a group about 5 videographers full-time that work with other sports. They have a great intern crew over there as well, filled with, you know, talented students similar to what we have in our department. So we work hand in hand. You know, they have a lot on their plate with all of the other sports, and we have a lot on our plate with football. So it's the best of both worlds because a lot of places it might just be one creative team under athletics.
That was what I was going to piggyback with. Is how common is it just to have a department solely focused on football?
Yeah, I think a lot of schools are kind of going towards that route now, and they see the importance of it and having a group embedded with the program, you know, basically, you know, 24/7, you know, whenever we're kind of called upon as needed. But yeah, I think it is important because it builds trust with not only the coaches, they know your face, you're in the same office building as they are, you're around facility, but also the players too, right? You want to have their trust and make sure they know they can be themselves around you. Like we're not going to put anything bad out if we catch it on camera or, you know, any weird sound bites or photos. Like we're going to make sure we're protecting the brand, you know, as Coach Sark likes to say, and protect the team. And but it's great, you know, we have the best of both worlds here at Texas, right? They want to have the volleyball team has the same resources as the football team, so they have a great setup with Caden and his crew, and we work hand in hand on a lot of different projects around football. You know, intro videos, season campaigns, in venue scoreboard, jumbotron videos, all that kind of stuff. We collaborate and work hand in hand with.
Well, now that you're talking about the scoreboard and showing the team videos and trailers before the game, first of all, you do a great job. Been doing that for years. It's really storytelling. I really think it is. Where does that passion come from when you're doing the futures and the sound bites and the mic'd up, putting these players in a great light? Where does that passion come from to storytell and kind of connect the dots? I think I don't have that gift, so it looks like it's very complicated from here. But where'd that passion come from?
Yeah, I mean, I played sports growing up. I was a big basketball guy. I didn't really play football, but fell in love with it, watching it on TV. I'm not the biggest guy, so I didn't really want to get in there and throw my body around and get beat up in shoulder pads and helmets. But just being around sports my whole life, that camaraderie. There are stories there. There are friendships there.
Yeah.
And I've always just kind of been like a video production nerd. I was a big Michael Jordan fan.
Nerd's a good word. I like that. I like that. That's a great word.
Yeah, video nerd here. And I was a big Michael Jordan fan growing up. Like I had every single VHS tape that came out every single year, and it was always a story chronicling his season.
Yeah.
They sat him down, did interviews. They had these fancy slow-mo video clips that I could tell even at like younger age that wasn't the stuff I saw on TV. So that kind of stuff always fascinated me. I always tell a story. I had to be in front of the camera or in front of the TV when the NBA on NBC intro hit.
Yeah.
Whether Bob Costas or Marv Albert, like,
boy, how's the air?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that was always a big part of my childhood, and I was just fascinated by it. Like I had to see it, wanted to know what they were going to do to hype this big game up. And I think that's kind of where it started. So growing up, realizing I wanted to do something in video production. When I went to college, like what we do now wasn't really a thing. Like this industry exploded, the past, 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And so I actually went to school for broadcast journalism because I thought I wanted to be on SportsCenter. I wanted to be on, behind a desk for a news anchor for a news channel, and, telling stories that way. So, going through that process during school, that kind of helped me learn storytelling from a visual, a visual technical aspect of it. When you're watching a news channel, you only have 30 seconds to a minute to get all the information easily digestible so people know what you're talking about, and then you move on. So learning that background in college and taking it to, my professional journey here, everything's got some sort of story to it, even if it's a play. Like you're telling whether he busts through the line, if he's fighting through a tackle, or if he's throwing a stiff arm down. Like that's the story of the clip.
Yeah.
So everything kind of ties back to that, and I think that's where you build that emotional connection to the team, to the program. Like you're feeling their emotion and their passion through our storytelling.
Real quick, just to piggyback off of that, when you're being creative with these different pieces, different futures, is it a combination of your gift of figuring some things out, or this space is always moving and being innovative and changing, or are you concentrating and looking at what others are doing and trying to bring a little bit of newness in there, or however?
Absolutely, yeah. The wheels are always turning.
That seems like a lot, by that way. I'm like, golly, I could not do this.
It is hard for me to turn it off.
Yeah,
because the wheels are always turning.
That's a gift in you. That's
right
yours.
now. Like, that camera should actually be a little more this way.
Are you sure I'm framed up perfectly?
Yeah, exactly.
Right here?
Well, we did it today, so you're probably not. But so apologies when you watch this.
We'll fix it in post.
Exactly. I'll send it to you to edit this one.
Exactly.
It's like the best edit we've ever had. No, man, but all joking aside, like I think when Higgs and I were starting out and doing all the NIL at Texas, whether it was Clarkfield or Texas One, we felt the need to keep everything we did at Texas's standard, right, at the level of Texas. So we went out for graphics and photo. We hired Matt Lang, which we just stole someone from the past. But we had the hardest time, and this is a credit to you, of finding a videographer, a video person who could make it look Texas good. That's a real story where we were like frustrated. We're like, we can't put this out. This doesn't look like something Texas would do, until we finally found Colton President, who helped us kind of initially set up and do everything. But where does that, I mean, obviously it's years of practice and honing your craft, but Texas has such a style and a look and just the way, and whether that's, this filter, this color, that, like, was that you that kind of decides that, or do you switch it up each year? How does that work?
Yeah.
I always wondered that.
It's funny you mentioned Matt Lang, because I'll give him a shout out. He was the one that kind of brought me over into football once the football creative department started.
Yeah.
There was some turnover, and he brought me over to that video production role. So I learned a lot from him, you know, when he was here or when he was at Texas, how we handled certain situations, how to go about certain things. And so, and me, him, and Tony Turnquist, I felt like we built, you know, that Texas social media department.
Revolutionized it, man. Like it changed the sport.
Yeah, they were a big, you know, learning factor for me. And so I think just starting from what they built and then what I came on, you know, what we built together, and then taking what we did there, and then, like you said, kind of evolve it, like what's new, because new things are popping up. You know, TikTok's exploded and all these different types of TikTok trends and audio trends, and how can we, you know, keep pushing the envelope, but still representing the brand in the right way, that Texas knows how to do, right? So I think like DJ brought up, like we're looking around to see what other people are doing. Our wheels are constantly turning, trying to see how can we take what this effect or this trend, how do we make it work for us? And, you know, what some teams are doing might not work for what we want to do or the message we want to convey. So it's always about making sure, you know, we're putting out that message and that just that story of Texas football in our program.
Yeah, it's awesome. Earlier in this interview, you mentioned how you grew up on the like 90s documentaries and Michael Jordan's, all that type of stuff. And then we got to the early 2000s to the 2010s. That was kind of my era when I played. And it was almost like anti-cameras, anti-media within the program because you just wanted to keep everything in-house. And then you mentioned how 10 years ago, all that kind of exploded. And now you got to have a creative team and you got to promote everything. How do you promote these guys with brand building and stuff like that, but not make it a distraction within the team?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think a tough part of it is not being a distraction, right? We want to make sure we're being efficient with their time, with the coaching staff's time. So a lot of stuff is pre-planning in the off season. You know, if we're doing a content media day, making sure we're doing that during the summer to where we can check a lot of boxes, whether it's photos or videos or interviews, you know, getting that done before they really get, you know, into, you know, game plans and practicing for the season. But a lot of it is making like their natural personality shines through no matter what.
Yeah.
So we know like Trey Wisner is hilarious. Right. So like if he's one of the funniest dudes I've ever come across and met.
I've heard that.
Yeah. You know, Trey's awesome. So like we get to know these players and we know like, okay, we want to do more of a funny kind of like player question cam thing. We know the guys are going to go to because they're going to bring it out, you know, and they're going to be natural with it. They're not going to be forced or awkward or, you know, cringy or whatever. And then personality shines through. Yeah. Right. Someone like CJ Baxter, just his, you know, coming back from his injury, the perseverance he shows, like that shines through.
Yeah.
So again, it just, you know, since we're in the building, we're around these guys all the time, we pick up certain things. Now, some of them might have a nickname that we don't know about or a hidden talent that we might get tipped off to, and then we kind of go from there. But yeah, man, the guys, you know, luckily and truly, they make it easy for us. You know, they're all great guys, and they trust us to do our job, which is a huge help that we're not, you know, trying to fight through a bunch of barriers or, you know, track guys down. You know, they understand what we do and they understand the importance of what we do. So.
And you've been here, you said 13 years?
Yeah, 12, 13 years.
Man, if you were a coach, you would look a lot older. But I'm telling you, man,
no,
for real, that's pretty cool.
I got some grace coming in now.
Yeah,
they're starting to
they
show
come
through.
fast, man. Watch out.
But the job, I love learning about what you do, like personally, and more strategic and specifically. But I think this is a serving type of job, and I love serving. I do that stuff with foundation and all that stuff. I think with you being behind the camera, being able to highlight and uplift these players on a platform to make them look really good, that's a serving mentality. Do you get any gratification off of not being in front of the camera? You're behind people. A lot of people don't know who you are. Face-wise, they may know your name and whatnot, but what do you get from being behind the camera?
Yeah, I think it just, again, being from a sports background, a lot of gratification is being part of a team.
There you go.
You know, you see not just the football team, but our support staff. You know, I know I'm not the only one putting in long hours or staying late in the office. Like we're all kind of pushing towards one thing. So, and we all celebrate when we win, and we all feel it, and we hurt when we lose. So, from a content standpoint, it's just fun to create. It goes back to just like, I'm just fascinated with sports video production. So being able to create something from scratch to this, 7-minute mini movie, when it's not only my footage, but it's our student interns footage, it's our friends over in athletics, their footage that they share, and it's showing like just how good and great our department is. That, like I said, there's a standard, right? So like it could be a good thing or a bad thing. So you push yourself every day to make sure you're putting out the best content you can, and that's kind of the gratification I get to. And I try not to look too much at comments and reposts and stuff right there, but if I get tagged in it, I see it more so. But yeah, to know like people are looking forward to what we do.
Yeah,
like, that's a great, as a content creator, that's what you hope for. Like people are expecting, like, can't wait for this mini movie to drop. I took a photo with my wife on the field after the Peach Bowl. We're shocked we won, great comeback, and the first 3 or 4 comments like, mini movie's gonna be epic, can't wait for you to post this. Like, where's the mini movie? It's like, give me about 3 or 4 days to go through about 6 cameras worth of footage.
I'm also a human.
And I
enjoy this moment.
And I actually did a hype video 2-3 years ago or so, and you were over that, man. It turned out perfect. While I was doing it, I'm like, there's no way this is going, And then every time people see it doing that, I forgot when it was, 2 or 3 years ago, people would hit me up like, man, I'm ready to go. So I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no problem. That's what the fun for us, right?
Yeah.
To invoke emotion just from watching something on your screen and, tap it into that passion. The fan base has a great passion. And on the other side, there's a lot of haters out there that, watch too, and like had a hard time saying anything bad when it's actually good content.
Very true.
So there's a lot of eyeballs on us, but that's the good pressure, and like kind of what drives me is just like continuing to put out good stuff and trying my best no matter what the situation is.
I never thought about it like that it's actually like his art. I'm more thinking about the guys in the video and like how they're gonna react to it. But I'm sure Derrick's in those comments like, really? No, what? Like, that is definitely the right shot,
It's a little more personal. For sure.
Just gotta know what he's talking about. But man, that going along the lines of content, you produce some incredible stuff, and this is probably like a favorite child question, but is there anything in your mind, or are there any pieces of content or video that you're like, so that's my Mona Lisa right
over the last couple of years? I've like pinpointed 3 because I get access a lot now.
I bet, yeah.
So we'll tell some stories. First one, the Sugar Bowl in 2018.
Okay.
That was my first year under the football umbrella. We go on a great run. I'm from New Orleans, so playing
nice.
in the Superdome is amazing. I've been there plenty of times as a fan and watch the Saints play, or I went to LSU. I saw LSU playing there a couple of times, and a couple of high school football games, but I never got to be on the field for that. So that was big for me, just being back home. My wife had to travel with me. That was our daughter's first Christmas, so she was with us, in New Orleans, our hometown. So that's the special part. But then for the game, we win the game. It's an incredible game. My brother is getting married in Sacramento 3 days later. And we win this huge game. I'm like, man, how am I going to do all this? Because I'm thinking we got to drive back to Austin with the baby. We got to pack up.
Yeah.
We got to fly out to San Francisco.
Quick turnaround.
And this is the biggest program victory since
in a while.
2011, maybe the A&M game, 2009, 2008. And I'm like, man, this is going to be brutal. So I worked a lot on the plane. We get to the Airbnb. I find this old, like small flat screen that's in the kitchen on top of the refrigerator. I take that down and I legit make a remote office in this Airbnb. The first 2 days we're there, I'm just working, trying to knock it out, and the video's great. Like, I love it. Like I said, Old's a special place because it was a big win for the program. It was in New Orleans, so being able to experience in that. My first year under the football umbrella was huge. I think the Big 12 championship recap we did holds another special place because it was like, at that point, 10 years in the making for me. Like, came in 2013, worked, and we got close a couple of times, but
you went through the hard times, man. Jeez. Yeah, telling stories. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but that is, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so
he was around when we was in the gutter for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, being able to experience that was great. We were able to bring pretty much our entire intern crew up there, which a lot of road games, we don't have our whole intern crew, like usually it's our full-time staff. So they put in a lot of work during the week, and, they help us out a lot with content, and just was happy they can experience that. I always thought like I might get emotional once we won a Big 12 championship or something. And it's funny because it was just something like, I'm filming the post game. There's just a normal day.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
confetti's falling. It's cool, but like it's like, all right, check the box. Let's go make a video.
Yeah.
So being able to make that highlight, you know, just something so significant and historic that, you know, last Big 12 championship, first one for Coach Sark, you know, just kind of people are going to go back to watch that. You know, it's one that'll probably hopefully stand the test of time when people look back at it. Actually, a lot of the emotion came the next day when we had our playoff reveal party.
Yeah.
Not knowing, it kind of goes back to you kind of been through the ups and downs the last, you know, 10 years or so. And then being able to
That was a cool video.
experience that,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
right? I wasn't even holding the camera.
Yeah.
Like I pressed post on our Twitter page and I got to sit back and look around and see the joy and excitement of our guys. And that's kind of where it comes in, like the satisfaction and like just the gratitude, like being a part of this. So those are, I know, a lot of moments that I hold pretty close to my heart. And then the Arizona State video this past year, you know, similar to the Big 12, you know, just to win the playoff game after going through this, you know, some heartbreak the year before against Washington, just being able to experience that.
Yeah.
Running on the field with the camera, confetti everywhere, you know, that one was one of the ones where you're like, oh, we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go make it. So that's the kind of thing you kind of gather yourself and just put the footage on a hard drive, then you're on to the next thing.
They needed shots of us having full meltdown in the studio watching the end of that game. Like, yeah, we were all like holding each other by the end.
Yeah, it was just, it's always hard for me to watch it through the lens because I'm such in like a work mindset. But that game, it was definitely like a lot of emotional, like, man, we got to get this. And, you know, it all worked out. And again, it's a great video that when I was making it, I was like, all right, this is going to be great. Yeah. Like a lot of times, like I go back and forth on, oh, I don't like this at all. I changed songs like 8 times, and then I end up going back to the original song. It's like I'm very, you know, in my own head about certain things. But that one was pretty seamless, just to go from, you know, the start all the way to the end of the video. It was just like kind of wrote itself. And again, we had a lot of great footage to work with. So I'm just grateful to have a team that, you know, captures that stuff and love using their stuff more than my stuff because they do a great job.
Can I steal one in between? Yeah. But that I mean, man, I've always wondered this, right? Like we have enough of a problem with stationary cameras. It's the easy way to edit, but you have so many people shooting content, so you have just insane amounts of footage, or you know, there's just so much to choose from. Like, how does to pop something into 30 seconds means you have to go through hours upon hours of.
I do go through every shot.
Do you really? That's what I was gonna ask. And like, so you're going through everybody's stuff to figure out. But when you do it, do you kind of have in your head a little storyboard of like, all right, I want an epic shot of the offense here, or the defense here? Or is it more just kind of feel and flow?
It's a little bit of everything because at the big, you know, before a game, we kind of give out assignments to our student creatives. So I know, you know, Sal, he does a great job. He's in the bench and he gets bench shots. So I know he's getting the reaction of the guys coming off the field. For this week, we might send our intern Troy up to the upper deck to get wide shots of the stadium. You know, whether it's for pregame, whether it's for the whole first quarter, maybe for the fourth quarter for the drone show. And then throughout the game, I'm keeping tabs on where our interns are and where our athletics full-time people are. So I know where they are when the play's happening. So
are you guys on radio to each other?
No, we've talked about doing that maybe, but yeah, we're on a big text thread, you know, constant communication. But so if I see a touchdown happen and I see, you know, our intern Henry sitting over there, I'm like, all right, I know for this play, he's right there. That's the first camera I'm gonna go to.
Wow.
Yeah,
he's out there coaching, man.
Yeah.
Derek's like,
I'm always. I can't sit still because I'll get bored.
Yeah.
So like the way I shoot, like I can't sit in the same spot. I gotta pick up this big heavy camera, walk, run up and down the sideline. And I like getting those dynamic tight shots that help tell the story.
Yeah.
Because we have enough cameras to get all the touchdown passes from the snap to the whistle, right? But like I want that close up shot of, you know, DeAndre Moore adjusting his gloves at the line because he's getting ready to score a touchdown, right?
Yeah.
So gathering that kind of stuff is what really keeps me engaged.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you know, following the play and then just seeing what happens. Because as the game's going on, I'm building in my head like, okay, right now we're up 3 touchdowns. So this could be a short, quick highlight. Or we might be in a nail biter, we're going back and forth and we're going to overtime. So now I'm thinking, okay, this might be a more 7-minute epic mini movie type thing. So, you know, not everything's kind of set in stone going in, but everything has to play out in front of you. And I think that's where, you know, that's when I come in and I'm like, all right, how are we going to dictate this story? How is this going to play out from a digital content standpoint?
Now, do you guys ever help? Because if I was on the team, I would ask you guys for advice on how to post different stuff, because everybody has a brand and they putting out content and whatnot. Do you get those questions, those advice questions from the players?
Yeah. So our offices are right up by the coaches' offices. So the guys know where we are. Some guys will pop in. Some are interested in cameras and come ask us like, hey, what camera should I get? Or, hey, I have this camera. What do you think? Or I might buy a new lens because that's their hobby, right?
Yeah.
So we talk shop there. We try to meet with them. And if they are ones that are active and posting, like some of it are good on their own, right? Some might need a little more coaching, or some might not even know where to start. So, we try to get out in front of that and help them out with, what they're posting, how they're posting it, showing them what engages more. If there's a certain time of day that might be better at posting it, then, you want to post it later in the evening when everyone's on their phone and not like in the middle of rush hour when everyone's sitting in traffic and that kind of stuff. So, we try to lend our expertise with those guys because some of them do have their own stuff that they're doing on their own, but also we're helping them as well.
Yeah, and Higgs usually texts me questions that he has during the game, but he has taken the time to write one this time, so I guess it's important. But
questions from the fans.
Yeah, exactly, from the man who makes it happen. Do you take notes during the game, or is it all mental?
The only time I'll take notes really is if I'm trying to track down a clip number. So if I know someone scores a touchdown right in front of me, I might write that clip number down quickly in my notes. But by Monday, I've watched the game like 3 or 4 times. I feel like I don't envy our coaches. I know they do a lot of hard work and they're grinders too, but I might watch it as many times as they do. Yeah. Just going through footage, I go through the broadcast, I'm clipping off sound bites, saving sound bites. So by the time I go through the broadcast, I know what the announcers are saying. I know what their, story was throughout the game and how can that help drive our story with their audio. So I have mental notes for sure. It's one of those things where like it's just always engaged, trying to see how this plays out to make it easier on myself when I sit down. I kind of have somewhat of an outline, how I'm going to attack this video. So, just being aware and just staying in the moment to kind of keep capturing.
Man, the time, I can't even imagine the time he takes to make that 1 30-second video. I don't even want to know how many.
Yeah, there's a reason we don't do the 8 to 10 minute videos every week.
For real. That's a full movie, man.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about how important it is for guys to continue to build their brand, and you even talk about guys coming into your office, talking shop about, is this a good post, or what options do I have to post on social media? Well, let me ask you this. How does your department affect players coming into the program, like recruiting? What impact does your department have on UT recruiting?
Yeah, I think we are the front porch of our program.
Absolutely.
Everyone's living on their phone. Everyone's living on Instagram. A lot of kids and, recruits, their main form of communications, like Instagram DM sometimes. So just being able to have our program out in front, highlighting our players, highlighting the awards, the atmosphere of DKR, when guys, former players go in the Hall of Fame, we make sure someone are tagging along, So I'm sure we'll be tagging along with Huff here in a couple a couple months. But just everything that comes with it, because like it is not just 4 years, right? It's 4 years. You're always welcome back. Our former players that come back to school and graduate, we highlight that stuff. Highlighting all the stuff that goes into our programs from nutrition, academics. Like you could basically get most of our official visit through our social media. Highlighting all those different things that we offer. And, as the, iPhones were invented and that just kind of slowly been more prevalent in our lives, like that's where recruits are seeing the most of your content. So making sure that we're still, out in front of it, making cool stuff that they like to see, showing the player, showing the new locker room off. Like we want them to envision like, oh, I can be there. Like that looks great. Like I want to go play for Coach Sark. I want to go play in DKR. I want to live in Austin, all the great stuff they get to do. So, that's our responsibility. We work a lot with our recruiting staff to make sure they're taken care of when it comes to, mailers we send out or, the bed toppers they have for when their recruits come on their official visit. Kyle Barkle, he's our assistant creative director. He does a great job working hand in hand with Taylor Sarles and that group over there in recruiting to make sure that, we have the best stuff that our recruits are seeing when they come on their campus.
When it comes to the Texas football social media accounts, how many hands are involved in that? Like, who has access to those accounts?
A couple. I'm the main publisher, so I'm doing a lot of the tweeting. I think a couple in athletics have it just from a safeguarding standpoint. just in case I get locked out or something. But yeah, man, we take care of almost everything in house. So our athletics department, they help us out. Caden and his crew, they're social media directors and assistant directors. They hop on the sticks every now and then, and tweet if we need to. Our Kyle, who I just mentioned, he helps me tweet every now and then if I'm in a pickle, or I got the kids out at the park or something and we got to post this graphic. I will text him like, hey, do you mind doing this? I'm distracted, and he'll do it. So we keep it pretty close to the vest though, for the most part.
One more question off that. Have you guys ever had to walk anything back? Like anybody that's had a social media account that's had to delete something or underneath a tweet
where you say, dang,
I'm sure there is, like nothing comes to mind, but that's maybe my fallback, or maybe it's a positive. I overthink everything. So I'm thinking of it as from what our fans are going to think, what the trolls are going to think. Like how can the trolls spin this into something negative? Try and make it seem like it's something it's not. Like that's all going through my mind. So let's say it's a gift and a curse, because it'll take me like 30 minutes to post something, because I'm like, does this caption sound weird? And, but yeah, it's a role that I've tried to get better at as I've stepped in this chair, because I never was a social media manager. Now I'm wearing so many hats: social media manager, videographer, manager, supervisor. All that stuff is just under that title. So just trying to learn and get better as I go.
I know y'all make it really convenient for everybody to see this content, but we would just want to tell y'all thank you, man, because I've been involved with y'all with even when I came back to graduate. Y'all hit that piece when I went to the College Football Hall of Fame, going down there. We'll go down there with Huff here in a few months, but man, we really appreciate what y'all do. Like, I know y'all behind the camera, but it wouldn't be what it was, or you wouldn't hype it up as much if you guys wasn't creative and serving the way y'all do. So I really appreciate that.
Let me piggyback off that too. Yeah, you guys do an amazing job. I'm talking about keeping alumni involved. I'm talking about, I wore number 80 days till kickoff. I see a highlight from the Texas football account. I'm like, man, wow, that's love.
Yeah.
So y'all's work is incredible, and you do not miss anything. So
appreciate it.
Continue the work, man.
Yeah. Well, appreciate that.
Man, before you get out of here, we got to give you your viral moment, because I know you texted me when this happened, but it was on my mind too, of how quick and how timely. We got two Chiefs in the building, so they'll appreciate this story even more. But we had an enormous viral moment for the Longhorns when Taylor Swift was on the New Heights podcast and talked about Xavier Worthy. Yep. You had that clip ready to go. Like, I feel like as she was saying it, Derrick was like, publish. But like, how does that happen, or how did that process work?
So it's a great picture of how we operate, and it's a great example of how I need to balance life outside of football and work. So I have two kids, Maisie and Miles, 7 and 4. We're kind of ramping up for football season. And every night I try to do bedtime routine. I try to get home for dinner. If I don't make dinner, I at least hang out with them. I'll, do bath time, then I'll do bedtime, make sure they're going to sleep. Give my wife a little bit of a break. She deserves it by the time I get home. So, literally walking my kids up to do bath time, and I get a text from Gracie Oliver, who's under athletics, again, working hand in hand together towards a common goal, right? She texts me, hey, not sure if you're following Taylor Mania right now, but she just name drop Xavier Worthy on the podcast. I was like, not following at all, but that's pretty cool.
Not on my channel, but okay.
So split second decision, like, all right, start the bath.
Yep.
Run down, get my laptop, put the kids in the bath, and I'm standing at the counter while they're playing in the bathtub, knocking out a quick edit. But, it kind of goes back to what you said about how I watch everything. You need to know your catalog, right? You need to know what the best plays are. And if we're in a bind like that, like, you don't want to be searching for footage for 45 minutes.
Yeah,
true. You got to be efficient, which is what I think we're very good at. You got to be able to pivot from a content plan, or, go off your path to something new, which I think we're great at. We're very good at reacting to things. We always have somewhat of an outline or a skeleton or a bullet point of how we want to attack the week, a game, but you never know what's
going to sound like a football coach.
Yeah. I mean, it's all hand in hand, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. We're not going to post about Taylor Swift all the time, but when she's name dropping, one of our top players in the NFL, recent guy Coach Sark coached and brought in, and one of our top draft picks, we're going to take advantage of that. And honestly, like if we didn't take advantage of that, then I don't know if I should be in the chair, right? Most followed celebrity, famous person on the planet right now. So, but it goes back to everyone kind of being involved, right? You know, I don't want to have all the ideas. I can't have all the ideas. Like we rely on our interns, we rely on our full-time staff, our support staff. You know, everyone's kind of pitching in when it comes to that. So that makes a big help and a big difference when everyone feels like they're involved and is looking to contribute with that kind of stuff. So, yeah, great moment. Did the bath, posted it, put him to bed. Come downstairs, it's got like 10,000 likes already. So that was all right. I'm putting the phone down. I'm gonna eat some dinner and relax a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'll let that ride until the morning. So
Right.
Real quick, I know we can never predict how the upcoming season goes, but for your department, are there any games that you guys have circled that you guys are excited to produce?
yeah, I mean, me personally, I never thought I'd get to go play in Columbus.
Yeah, right.
So just from a personal standpoint, the places football takes you, right?
Yeah.
Got to go to Alabama a couple years ago, went to Michigan last year, you know, Ohio State. So just personally being able to see these venues for me is like a huge, like circle the game, not from like a motivation standpoint, but just from like being a college football fan, you know, watching it growing up, watching it on TV, not even thinking I would be able to go watch a game there, let alone be on the field, let alone be in the locker room, let alone running out the tunnel with the team, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff's always incredible. Just looking to experience the SEC. You know, I graduated from LSU in 2011, so I've been to some of these places as a fan. I've been to Georgia before as a student, been to Florida before as a student, but like looking forward to going with the Longhorn logo on my chest. So it might be a little different venom coming from the fans, you know. Walking into a couple Hornets nests. So that's always fun. That gets me excited too, you know, just hearing the crowd and you feel a part of it. I mean, that's what we all kind of gravitate toward, is being a part of the team, being in these environments. So, yeah, I mean, we're always looking to try to highlight whether it's a former player we might want to use for Oklahoma trailer or Texas A&M trailer, if we're trying to track down some celebrities and maybe use as a voiceover for our trailers. You know, we're starting to plan that kind of stuff and give it a broad outlook. But again, who knows what will pop up between now and next week, you know.
Yeah.
We can't get too far ahead of ourselves from a content standpoint either.
It just needs to be a rack po for every video. That's it, done, printed.
Yeah, we haven't used rack in a little while, so we might need to bring him back into the rotation.
I wish I would ask him that if I was like about voice talent, because he's a pro. But Derrick, that was awesome, man. I don't know if you guys have anything before we get out of here, but man, I can't thank you enough for coming through. I think the people are gonna learn a lot from this.
Appreciate y'all having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, thanks, man. Hook 'em.
Yeah, hook 'em.